This file is the academic essay preparation resource. We're going to first look at this checklist. These are all items that you want to make sure that you're doing, and you just want to check, click yes, you did this, or no, that you did not do this. And so by the time you complete all of these items, you should be ready to go with your essay. How to turn in your paper. You want to pay attention in class, figure out what exactly we're doing. For the most part, we will be looking for a one-sentence thesis with one supporting paragraph and 3 sources that support the thesis. How do you use this packet? Well, on this page, what you're going to do here, you're going to, let's say you have your thesis, and your thesis is on Ferdinand, the assassination led to the start of World War I. So you have your 3 sources, whatever they may be. And what I want you to do here is write a summary for your source 1, your blue source. That could be a primary source document. It could be a newspaper article. It could be a JSTOR article. Whatever it is you have that you are using as a source. Let's say the author is Bob. The author is Terry. And the author is, I don't know, it's a New York Times article. After you read all 3 of these sources, you need to think collectively about what's in those sources. And your goal here is you want to develop your own original thought based on those 3 sources. So that's kind of what's going on here. This could be as simply as, when you're done reading. When you're done reading this source, I'm sure you're going to have certain views. Maybe you jot them down. By the time you read the second one, now you're making a connection. You're saying, all right, well, this article is similar to this one or different from this one. Okay, well, how and why? Well, that's where you start developing your original thought. Then you read a third source, and you're pretty much doing the same thing. Hopefully, eventually, that thought will lead to the development of your thesis. On this page here, World War I started because the assassination of Ferdinand set in motion secret treaties. This example uses one single argument by citing secret treaties. If writing 2 paragraphs, then use 2 arguments in the thesis. So that's where this one comes in. World War II started because the assassination of Ferdinand set in motion secret treaties, and Germany's attempt to resolve the crisis politically failed. So this would be for one supporting paragraph, and then this would be for the second supporting paragraph. So I want you to place your sample thesis here. Now you want to start thinking about how you will introduce your source. So you have your 3 sources that we talked about before, the 3 that are here. And whatever the name of the author, you need to figure out a way to introduce your source. Let's do this. Okay, the Black Hand plot that led to World War I. So here we see the author's name, Sidney Bradshaw Fay. So what you're going to do when you're citing this, what you want to do here, how will you introduce your source? In your essay body, you must introduce your source and not simply place your source into the essay body. For example, according to Colt Sievers, and that's the introduction. So here we have Sidney Bradshaw Fay. We're going to put Sidney Bradshaw Fay. And now we're going to quote. So let's say we're going to cite this section right here. So this section is what would go in quotes. Where would that go in quotes? It would go in quotes in your essay body. So you're writing your first sentence, period, your second sentence, and then boom. Now you have to, according to Sidney, what's her name? Sidney Bradshaw Fay. So you're going to do your introduction, and then you go comma, and then you're going to put in quotes the section of the reading that you are going to use in your essay paragraph, essay body paragraph. So since you have three sources, you need to figure out a way to introduce this. So I've used according to. Another way you can go would say in the article, the black hand plot. And now you give me this. So it's another way. So this one is saying according to, and then source two, you could say in the article, and then you give me the name of the article. Let's put that in italics. And then you give me the quotes, the quote again. So since you have a third source, you need to figure out a way to introduce that one. I don't know. We'll just come here. I don't. Hamilton Fish Armstrong. So this is where it gets a little tricky. You know, you don't always want to use according to, according to, according to, according to, in the article, in the article, in the article. So you want to mix them up, and you just want to figure out a way to introduce your source. I mean, you can come back to according to, or you could say furthermore, Hamilton Fish Armstrong argued in Confessions of the Assassin Whose Deed Led to the World War. That would be another way that you could go about introducing your source. So the reason why we're doing this here is because we have our thesis and you have your essay body. This is your essay body. This is your transition sentence. And World War I started from 1914 and ended in 1918. What caused the war has been debated since there was tension between the European powers that ultimately fought the war. Now we get into our first source, and our first source, we're going to introduce. Hey, I was trying to use a color there. We're going to introduce, and then we're going to put in quotes the source, and then you're going to give me your analysis. So I'm going to use this color for your analysis. Now you're going to give me your second source. So this is source one, source two, and then you got to give me your analysis once again. So what's going on here is that you need to figure out a way to introduce. We've said over here, according to, and this one in the article, and we're introducing our source. After you cite your source, write 2 to 3 sentences explaining how each identified source supports your thesis. So what's going on in this page, you want to have your source text, the text that you are going to actually put in your body paragraph. Now you want to answer with 1 to 3 sentences, 2 to 3 sentences, how or why, or how and why does the source you are citing, this source, support the thesis? If you can answer those questions, how and why, start placing those sentences here. And that's how you start to develop your analysis. Then you do your same thing for your second source. Your second source, whatever that is, and now you give me your analysis. And you're once again answering the questions, how and why. On this page, it's giving you more detail, pretty much some of the information that I just outlined, how to structure your paragraph. So we have the topic sentence, introduction of your first source, and it's just giving you some detail. And on this chart, what you're asked to do is to come up with your sentences. So you can place your sentences in these boxes. It says your work actually goes here. So you want to have the introduction and citing of your first source. And then, again, this is the how and why section. And so this chart right here is acting as a grid to try to help you prepare for the outline of your essay. And that's it for this packet. Good luck.